Hello everyone and welcome to Inside the Nest, the sports show created by Canisius College students for your enjoyment. I'm your host, Joe Soisson, and joining me at the desk today is Vincent Barile. We've got a full gauntlet for you today for this episode. We've got baseball, basketball, hockey, and football, and of course, a look at your Golden Griffins. Let's get this show on the road. We'll stick with that order and cover baseball first. The Boston Red Sox just beat the defending champions, the Houston Astros. The Los Angeles Dodgers are up on their series 3-2 over the Milwaukee Brewers. Game 6 of that series is tonight. If the Brewers win, Game 7 is tomorrow. Who do you think will make it to the World Series, and who do you think wins it all, Vinny?
You know, that's a good question. I believe it's going to be the Boston Red Sox going against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and both teams have earned their way to the top, and both deserve to be in the championship. I think in the end, the Dodgers will pull off a huge upset in the World Series.
Yeah, I have a similar prediction. I think the Dodgers pitching is just strong enough to keep the Brewers at bay. Plus, the Brewers have less wins on the road than they do at home, and they're playing in Los Angeles. There's no doubt that it'll be tough, but I think that the Dodgers' defense is just good enough to get by. However, when it comes to the World Series, I think Boston has the advantage. The Red Sox offense is in full swing and the way their defense played in the last couple of games against Houston, they have arguably one of the best outfields in the league, and we saw that in Game 4 against Houston.
Fair enough.
And it will certainly be fun to watch, to say the least. We'll shift from the end of one season to the beginning of another. The NBA season started this week. We got a glimpse of what Philadelphia versus Boston might have looked like if Kyrie Irving were healthy. LeBron's debut with the Lakers was pretty good, aside from the loss to the Trailblazers. But a bunch of players that switched teams in the off. There were a bunch of players that switched teams in this offseason. Right. Which player that changed teams is going to have the biggest impact on their new team, do you think?
Honestly, LeBron James. He has been given, $154 million to be on the Lakers. Although he has been traded to different teams, he was always the star that has been looked upon, and he has a lot of talent. I think LeBron is going to do very well with the Lakers, and he will make an impact as time rolls on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And LeBron, he's fantastic. And with Lonzo Ball there, they'll make some magic happen there. This might be kind of a long shot, but I think Dennis Schroeder could be one of the bigger impact players for Oklahoma City. Since 2010, the Thunder have always had a winning record. Russell Westbrook, for a while now, has been the face of this team. And although Dennis Schroeder isn't one of the bigger names in the league like LeBron or Dwayne Wade, I think that he can step up and take a lot of pressure off of Russell Westbrook. On the other hand, another move that I thought was interesting was Houston picking up Carmelo Anthony. Now, the Houston Rockets, they pushed Golden State to Game 7 last year in the conference finals. And if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, we don't know how that game could have changed. But we know that Houston might have needed another star. And I think Carmelo Anthony could be just that little extra flash of talent that Houston needs to get over the hump that is Golden State. From the court to the ice rink, we'll shift to the NHL. Hockey season is 2 weeks in, and we're already seeing some shifts in the standings. Carolina and Toronto sit atop their respective divisions in the Eastern Conference, while in the West, Anaheim leads the Pacific Division, and Nashville is back on top in the Central. Now, obviously, it's early in the season, but a lot of teams have shifted from standings at the end of last season. Who do you think is the team to watch out for this season?
It's a tough one. I mean, you're right. It's too early to call. A lot of the NHL teams have potential to take it all the way, but if there's one team that I think will have a strong impact on the season, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, with Austin Matthews as your center, I mean, like, watch out, because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Austin Matthews has looked fantastic. And Frederik Andersen, their goalie, is a stud in net. Toronto looks really good. And on top of that, they're off to a 6-2 start, which is really good to start the season. The other team I was interested in was the Calgary Flames. They missed last year's playoffs, but 2 years ago when they made the playoffs, they were really good at home. They were something around 24-20 in home games. And Johnny Gaudreau looks as good as ever. And Matthew Tkachuk, son of Hall of Fame forward Keith Tkachuk, through 6 games has 9 points. And if Matt Smith, the goaltender, can continue to play the way he has played for years, this team could be really tough to deal with.
It's unbelievable.
We're going to cut to a commercial break here. When we come back, we'll talk about the NFL and get an update on Canisius College athletics. Stay tuned.
Everyone loves the picture I posted of you.
AT&T reminds you, it can wait.
Beginning in my sophomore year at Canisius, I was part of a research team developing treatments for children with high-functioning autism. This kind of research involvement usually only happens at the graduate or postdoc level, and I did it as an undergrad at Canisius.
Welcome back to Inside the Nest. Our next segment is on the NFL, and after that we'll give you the Golden Griffin update on Canisius athletics. And of course, we'll end on our final outs. Since we're coming up on week 7 in the NFL, we're already almost halfway done with the regular season. Still, one team remains undefeated. That's the Los Angeles Rams. However, I want to shift to the opposite end of the spectrum here. Every team in the NFL has at least one win, but only 5 teams have exactly one win. And this is probably not who you thought it would be at the beginning of the season. Arizona, Indianapolis, Oakland, San Francisco, and the New York Giants. They all sit at 1-5, and Arizona sits at 1-6 after Thursday night's loss to Denver. So the question is, which of these teams has the brightest future or the most upside to them?
When we look at the teams with one win, I would be on the side of the 49ers. The team is filled with all of this unique young talent that has potential to go far with a good quarterback. And this is the reason I wouldn't choose the New York Giants or any of their teams. Because yes, for example, Eli Manning, he does have Super Bowl rings. I'll give him that. But his days are numbered. Why do you think Odell Beckham Jr. is having all these spasms and he's always complaining on the sidelines? It's because his quarterback can't get the job done. And that's why I think that the 49ers with Garoppolo, I think they have a better future.
Yeah, definitely. And to your point, the 49ers have one of the larger salary caps in the league right now. And to your Giants point, yeah, the Giants a couple years ago, they made the playoffs and lost in the wild card round in the first round to Green Bay. And since then, they haven't been the same team. Don't get me wrong, Saquon Barkley is really good, but Eli Manning has to step up soon if he wants to continue playing for the Giants. The team I like at 1-5 right now is Indianapolis, mainly because of Andrew Luck. He looks like he's back to his old form. He threw for over 400 yards against the Houston defense that has been one of the best in the league the past couple of years when it's fully healthy. Now, there's still a lot of work to be done offensively and defensively there, but the Colts know that they can trust Andrew Luck to get the job done. And with, I believe it's Dan Fouts is the offensive coordinator. With an offensive-minded coordinator, Andrew Luck's offensive scheme is just, it's gone from here to here. It's a big jump for them.
Absolutely.
Football season, as we said, entering Week 7, means the trade deadline is right around the corner. October 30th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the exact deadline for all NFL trades. Now, the Eagles have been in the market for a running back since their starting back, Jay Ajayi, got hurt. There's been plenty of rumors about possibly getting their old star back, LaShawn McCoy. Do you think the Bills will make this trade for LaShawn McCoy?
I think the Eagles should pick up LaShawn McCoy. Easy. And allow me to explain. Shady hasn't been putting up big numbers lately. And I think any Bills fan or person that watches football knows that. And when we look at the Eagles, Jay Ajayi is hurt. You're right. And now they have no running game. So would it be a smart move to negotiate with the Bills a deal that will bring McCoy back to Philadelphia? Oh, yeah. Plus, I think the Bills are fine with Chris Ivory, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to take the other side of this argument for a minute here. Although LaShawn McCoy would be really good as a Philadelphia Eagle, I think he's too invaluable to the Bills. He's a nightmare to defend against, and you really have to have good form tackling to wrap him up. Plus, Josh Allen and now Derek Anderson need all the weapons they can get from an offense that hasn't been very productive all season. Instead, I think there's a couple free agents that they could pick up that could be just as effective. The top two that come to mind, Shane Vereen and Eddie Lacy. They're both downhill, north and south runners with some power, which is exactly what Jay Ajayi brought to them when he first got there. So they might look into those players if the time comes. One last NFL topic before the break. We'll stay in the NFC East and shift to Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys are 3-3 headed into Week 7. There's been a lot of speculation in terms of quarterback Dak Prescott. The season for Dallas has had its ups and downs with some ugly wins and losses until last week when they beat Jacksonville 40-7. They have a game against the Washington Redskins this week. This is an important game for them because the winner will take the lead in the division. Depending on the outcome of the season, Dallas is going to have to make a decision as to whether or not to keep Dak Prescott as their starter. Do you think Dak Prescott is the future of Dallas?
Dak Prescott, so far, I think, has had an astounding career. He has thrown 52 touchdowns in his career with a total of 8,000 plus yards. He was chosen by the Cowboys in the 2016 draft in the 4th round. And again, that's in 2016. He still has time to grow. And I think with time, he will be the face of this franchise. He just has to keep pushing and work hard.
Yeah, it's like you said. He's a young quarterback, and with those numbers, there's no denying his talent. It's just a matter of how he gets used and the system that shapes him. I think the way they played against Jacksonville, that's how they should be every game. If you actually looked at the offensive side of the roster, they're built fairly similar to Kansas City. Young starting quarterback, fast receivers on the outside, and a young star running back in the backfield. Kansas City is nearly undefeated. Their one loss came to the Patriots, and that came in overtime by a field goal. And although Dallas, it's not a pretty 3-3, they're still 3-3. I think if they switch the tone of their offense and change the scheme to what Kansas City has been doing, this doesn't become a discussion of, is Dak the guy? It becomes a statement of Dak Prescott and the Cowboys are back. And replicating an offense isn't easy, but you just exposed one of the best you just exposed one of the best defenses in the league.
Absolutely.
So you could probably do it again. And with that, we'll be right back with a Canisius Athletics update and our final outs. Stay tuned.
Want to achieve more than you ever thought possible? At Canisius College, you can. A Canisius education is packed with extraordinary opportunities like top-level scientific research, global service experiences, and real-world connections. Want to intern at a Fortune 500 company? Want to get into the best medical and law schools? Want to be a champion for social justice? You can. Here.
Welcome back to Inside the Nest. Up next is our Golden Griffin update and the final out. The Golden Griffin's men's soccer team the Golden Griffin's men's soccer team only has 4 games left this regular season. Their next game is Saturday, October 20th against St. Peter's. They have an overall record of 4-6-2. And on the other hand, women's soccer has an overall record of 4-7-4. They have a game at Ryder this Saturday and end the regular season with a home game on Sunday against Siena. Women's volleyball is at an even 10-10 with home games this weekend against Siena and Marist. And last but not least, hockey season is about to get underway. The Griffs have their home season opener tonight against Air Force. And now it's time for our final out, where we make a prediction on the upcoming sports world. Vinny, why don't you start us off?
For my prediction, let's take a look back at the NFL. The Saints versus the Ravens. This is a game that is being talked about a lot. We have a man by the name of Drew Brees, who just broke a record for the most passing yards in NFL history, going against a team that he has had struggles facing. The Saints have the best offense, but the Ravens have the best defense. Who do I choose? The Ravens, because defense wins football games, and I have no doubt in my mind that they will apply a lot of pressure to Brees in the game.
All right, and my prediction this week, Canisius sweeps Air Force this weekend. They got a game tonight and a game Saturday. Should be fun to watch. Canisius has a bunch of key offensive players back on their roster. McLaughlin, Chamberlain, and Hutchinson are all snipers in the offensive zone. Plus, this team has a lot of offensively minded defensemen. I'm looking for players like Heath, Mazza, and Gestro to get involved in the offense early. Should be fun to watch. And that's the show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Backstage crew. Without your help, this show would not be possible. Thank you, Vinny, for joining me at the desk. If you like our content, check out our Facebook page and our YouTube channel for more episodes of both Inside the Nest and Canisius Connections. We're also always on Channel 4-1 on Canisius College Campus TV. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and remember, you're always welcome to fly by the nest.